Hello, everybody, and welcome back to M&J Games. I am Michael, and I'm really excited for the park tour that we're looking at today. As I am joined by two guests. I am joined by Mavsfam4. I always say fan, but it's Mavsfam4 and TeeJayPuffs92. How are y'all doing today?
I'm good.
How about you, TJ? You
I'm
doing all
good,
right?
thank. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, as you guys can see, this is just a beautiful park. It's called, or pronounced, Hero Academy, and I'll put the link to the workshop below in the description. But as we're just kind of looking at a basic overview, normally collabs kind of have a story on how the collaborations kind of came together. So if y'all would, how did you guys kind of come up with the idea for collaborating on this park?
So the park actually began with the roller coaster that's pretty much central, the Samurai, which
Mm-hmm.
I entered into the Discord contest. I had a small intention of continuing after it was done, and it placed third, so that kind of inspired me to actually take it forward and started building a park. But at that point, I was keen on doing a collaboration, and with TJ stacking up those medals, I approached him and
Yeah.
asked whether he'd be interested in taking on if I got it up to 50% and then he finished the other 50%.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, so TJ, so you basically worked on the park from everything on after 50%, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and because I believe at first, Mavs, you were working on a PS4 still, and so
Yeah.
recently you got PS5, but at the point of you working on this, you hadn't upgraded yet, correct?
No, that's correct. Mhm.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this tour, and as you guys can see, this is it's a very large park for sure, and it's at 100% on the PS5, so let's get started. So we're here at the entrance to the park, and I just love this little, like, I love realism, and this is just a really cool way to kind of hide where the guests are entering the park from, and to have this staff parking lot, like over here, you got staff entryway kind of mixed with, guests kind of parking and buses and so forth. So park buses, ambassadors, and deliveries. I like it. And as you guys can see here, the guests actually come into the park this way. So this is a very unique kind of idea that you guys had for the entry to the park. So what kind of gave you this idea to have the guest enter this way, Mouse?
Well, the use of the word ambassadors comes from SeaWorld. And
Okay.
as I'm in Orlando, you also have Disney. And as you know, Magic Kingdom will have their transport take you to the park and the parking lot further away.
Mhm.
So that was the idea.
Okay, well, that's really cool. And normally you see people build entrances that are, basically straight on from the where the guests enter. But it's really cool how you kind of made the decision to have the guests kind of enter this way. And also, I love the fencing, just to kind of hide the edge of the park. So it's an amazing job. And how'd you come up with the overall theme? Because obviously you continued the theme from your rival coaster, but how'd you come up with that initial kind of Asian style theme for your park when you decided to build that coaster?
It really did come from that. I was during that contest throwing around a few names for myself, and samurai was just something that was it kept coming back to me. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole Japanese feudal kind of time and
Yeah.
the architecture went with it all, and I really enjoyed messing around with that kind of style, and it just grew from there.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks stunning. And so TJ, kind of, was this an area that, did you kind of work on this area too, or, um,
I did the majority of. I did this area here. Yeah.
okay. So
This
how
was
what?
after he'd given me the park.
So how difficult was that to collab on a park where it's a style that I don't know if you've really built much with it, and obviously you're continuing the same style throughout the park. So was that a challenge, or was it a challenge that you kind of enjoyed having?
Yeah, it definitely was a challenge. I'd never really messed with the Japanese style builds before, so I definitely had to take a few of the in-game blueprints and like kind of study them a little bit and then
Mm-hmm.
just make my own versions of it. I still used like that centerpiece there is an in-game piece. I didn't really do all of it.
This
but
one
I
right here?
did try.
Okay.
I did try to modify it a little bit if I did put in an in-game piece.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love the fencing. Is that custom or is that actually?
It's custom.
Oh, okay. So you use the World's Fair fence. Oh, I forgot. It won't let you actually move anything, but that is an amazing custom fence. So that looks amazing. And yes, I guess this is the way of the first coaster, right?
That's the exit.
Oh, that's the exit. Okay. And this is really cool too. How the coaster, it's a boomerang, as we can see over there, but it really interacts with the path a lot, which is really cool. Oh, you changed up the mechanics attire. That actually looks.
That.
That actually looks really cool. Oh my gosh, this fountain. Oh yeah, I remember you sent pictures of this when you were working on it. This is amazing. So Hero Academy theme park. Gosh, this looks awesome. And so this whole thing's custom up here too, right? Just looks like a.
Now, Mavs actually did do that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Because it looks like just a lot of. Is it art pieces?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy how sometimes building stuff in this game, it can be like, oh, what'd you use? And it's just like, oh, basic art pieces, you know? But it just really, really looks so good. And I mean, just all the little detail too, like even having this kind of, this little covering is just amazing. Looks awesome. And of course, a great queue. Okay.
I cannot remember the name of the coaster.
Yeah.
But it's
Isn't it
the
Shuriken?
Japan. Yes, there you go.
I could just click on it and see. So it's called, yeah, Shuriken. I think I pronounced that right. Yeah.
Japanese for throwing star, I think, is what it was.
Oh, makes sense with the throwing star right there. Yeah. Wow, this is awesome. Yeah, so we, I mean, I feel like sometimes with this Japanese style or kind of Asian style buildings, I just haven't really built much with it because I just don't even know where to begin. And this is just, the detail in here is just insane. Yeah, this looks amazing. Really well done. And, oh, this is cool. Creating that custom kind of operator's booth. So that's really cool. Oh, is this, let's see. So if we look at stats, it's just a giant inverted boomerang. Okay. Wow, really good stats. I mean, anytime you get a coaster in the 7s is really impressive. So, oh, 217 feet. This is a massive boomerang. So let's go ahead and take a ride on this coaster. So we just got off the giant boomerang coaster, and wow, that is an incredible coaster. Like, that would be terrifying to be on an actual boomerang in real life that's like 250-ish feet. That is impressive, and I hope everybody noticed as well, we basically got is this like samurai school that's going on down here, or
ninjas in training.
Ninjas in training, there we go. That is awesome. And I like too how you guys just really kind of, you both work together in this, which obviously that's what you do in a collab, but you know, you continued the idea of, you know, keeping all the employees and different stuff kind of in the black uniforms and stuff. So I think that's awesome. And then here, just adding these little bits of realism on the rooftops, you know, stuff the guests are never going to see, but I think it really adds a lot to the park. And so when was, excuse me, so is this like one of the last coasters you put in, or where was this kind of in the build?
This is the second coaster I put in.
Okay.
So before any of the shops, any of that waterfall, any of that was there, I put in my 2 coasters.
Okay. And let's
Well,
take a look.
3, but
Let's take a look before, because I want to look at this area at nighttime, so I want to make sure I don't miss anything at night. And you know, this is, I think it looks awesome as you lit up the areas that you kind of wanted to highlight and have everybody's attention capture. You lit those up well, but the paths are lit up nice as well. You know, not it's not overly done, so it looks great.
now there is a water show in front of that.
Okay.
It's probably already going, but
Yeah, I guess
nothing crazy.
Okay. Oh, I like that. How that. TJ or Mavs, did y'all do that, or which one of you guys did the lights on that, or is that just part of the normal hammer swing that has the lights that way? Do you guys know?
I think that's just
Yeah, TJ placed all this down. So.
Okay, so that just might be the actual ride then that does that at nighttime.
Yeah. The arrows pointing up. I think that's the ride itself.
Okay, that shows you how little I've looked at stuff at nighttime in the game. But yeah, that looks awesome. So now I wanna head to the left, because we'll come back around. We'll kind of loop around back to this area, so we can kind of end where we started. So I think if we go left, this will take us to your initial coaster in the park. And yeah, I mean, I like what you did here with the flat ride, where you just kept the terrain paint kind of the same, right? And just kind of placed down fencing, because I feel like you see that a lot in theme parks where it's just the cement or asphalt, and the flat ride's basically just placed on top of it with fencing. So I think that's a really, really well done job, and nice colors as well. Then, so I guess go to the left, right? It's the exit.
That's the exit, yes.
Okay. So we'll go this way. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, because there's so much in this park.
Yeah, he said that we were doing like a red, black, and white color scheme, so we kind of just stuck with that throughout the park.
Yeah, for the most part.
For sure. And so you said you came up with this because you like the name Samurai. And I know I oh my gosh, that door is awesome. Oh wow, that is cool. How'd you make that look all like one piece? Like,
it's just 2 chain links and lined up very precisely for the...
Oh man. But it's crazy because I guess the height of it, that looks like it's longer than the normal chain link fence. I guess that's why I was confused at first. I was like, what in the world? But no, that makes sense. That's really cool though, how in theory you just shut that at the end of the day and so forth.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that he put door stops at the bottom there when he made it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that either. That's really cool. So many little details we can miss in this game, right?
Yeah, I looked at this park a lot, and I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so I'm guessing, Mavs, this is your amazing sign work, huh?
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's what Google told me the samurai symbol is.
Yeah. For anybody who hasn't yet, guys, make sure to go check out Mav's workshop, because his sign work is just insane. And I mean, just even these things, man, just these whatever these fans are called, I don't know the technical name for them, but those look awesome. Like the coloring of it.
Game pieces, I think, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, they are. Oh, there you go. I was just assuming that they look so great that you'd made the Mavs. But I love this little kind of nature area, just having that little pit in the middle. And for anybody who's wondering, why does the water look so blue? You just place down. Oh, wait, that's not what I was looking for. I was trying to find. Basically, you just place down a colorable lit panel, and it gives the impression that the water is more blue than it actually is. So just a way to kind of cheat the game a little bit, right?
Yep.
So, how'd you come up with this? Like, I know you talked about how you came up with the idea of kind of the theme and stuff, but how'd you kind of come up with the whole design and area for this coaster? Because you said it was for the July Rivals Coaster Contest, I believe.
Yeah, as I say, it was just writing down a few names that stood out, and Vampire was one that I nearly went with. But yeah, Samurai stood out. So then it was just like, having a look on the old Google to find inspiration and how much wood to brick ratio they use on their buildings. And
Oh, okay. Yeah. And I love this station. I love how it's like half open, half closed. I just think it's a really kind of cool touch, especially with the roof here. So that's just a really, really cool design. And are these trying to... Okay, so that's an actual in-game piece. Yeah, I'm just not really used. I don't really know too much of these type of pieces, so it's really kind of interesting to me trying to see like maybe what's been extra, like extra detailing pieces that are added, and what's like an in-game piece and stuff. But before we take a ride on this coaster, is there anything else we should know before?
It's all fully custom supported.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely make sure to take a look at that afterwards. So biggest drop, 98 feet. G-forces look good. Stats all green. And we'll see you guys after. Alright, so we just got off of Samurai, and I mean, that's a fantastic coaster. Really well done, Mavs. And you said this is all custom supported except for the lift hill, right?
Correct, yeah.
So, like, how did you just go about, I guess maybe just explain kind of going about this custom supporting this coaster, because not only is it custom supported, you custom supported it to where it matches the style and theme. And you know, like you got those there that kind of match the style and theme of the building, plus these supports here that are just really, really cool. So if you would maybe just talk to us a little bit about the process of custom supporting the coaster and so forth.
Well, I will say that I'm no engineer, so I'm not sure how well those supports would actually work for real. But yeah, it was just doing what made sense. I had the building, I built the track with the supports off.
Okay.
And then I came down on the parts where, you know, it made sense. Made sure it was all wide enough where I do have those gates that, you know, nobody could hit their hands or legs or anything on them.
Right. Yeah, this is awesome. And I mean, I think now kind of getting this aerial look of it, this whole area in here is just one of the coolest looking custom supports I've ever seen. Like, I kind of agree with you, like, who knows if that's how it would actually be done in real life, but who cares, because it looks cool, right? And it looks like it could be done that way, like, just the jumble of, I don't know if jumble's the right word, but you know what I mean, just the amount of different support pieces that are here that all kind of connect to essentially 2 or 3 of the same supports is just really cool and insane. Like, this loop is just awesome. So that's, I'm sure that was tedious, but you're happy with the end product.
Not in a rush to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, basic supports are easy. These are not. Like, that is just so cool, kind of seeing that loop. And then if we look down here, like I think you talked about here at the end, making sure people weren't hitting their feet and stuff. So we got a little transfer track, which is music to my ears, so I love it. And you've got some, it's kind of decked out too with some extra stuff. So this is really, really cool and well done. Yeah, so I really, really enjoyed that coaster. What are your thoughts on that coaster, TJ?
I thought it was a really good job. He did really great with those custom supports. The patience that had to take in to do that many, because I know it's not easy, and it does take time, but it does pay off and it looks good in the end. So definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it definitely was worthy of the third place in the contest. So I think he did a great job.
Yeah, absolutely, did a great job. Yeah, and if this was third place, I mean, I know TJ, I think you finished second in that one, and yours was amazing. And or did you finish first? I honestly can't remember.
No, Xbox got first. Kenny, Mad Catter, he got
Oh,
first.
that's right. Yeah, they were just some unreal creations for this contest. So let's continue on. Let's continue going to the left. There wasn't anything I missed there, was there, Mavs? Because I want to make sure I don't skip over anything.
Not really. I mean, it exits through a gift shop where you
Okay.
saw earlier.
Oh yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah, let me just make sure.
It's
So
detailed. It looks good.
Yeah, this looks great. That is like the one. Oh, ride photo booth. I want to see what you did for. Oh, you actually. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And you got those little cabinets. Oh, that's a fantastic idea. So I'm trying to, figure out, okay, how can I deck out some of these ride photo booths a little bit more realistic since we don't have TMTK. But it sounded like you were starting to say something, TJ.
No, like when I saw this when they were doing the spotlight for the contest, I was like, oh my god, like I didn't do anything after mine, and then like 2 or 3 people like were pulling out these really awesome detailed gift shops, and I was like, okay, it looks great.
Yeah, and then I love too just having this fence here, so that obviously at the end of the day you can pull down the fence and close up shop. So just fantastic. All right, let's see. What is this to? Is this a?
So that goes to the Hellion Ring, and it was originally part of the Samurai line when I entered it into the contest. But obviously I didn't need that much of a queue anymore.
Right, and it just kills the counter. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. I do remember looking at this and seeing it, and had a much longer queue than what we just saw. So, okay, well that's kind of cool that you kind of changed it up and incorporated it into another ride. That's really, really cool. And once again, I love this little entryway. Really, really well done. Yeah, I mean, this is just the detail you guys put into this park is awesome. Once again, your signs, dude, I don't, even though I know you're just kind of overlaying pieces there, like that is still just insane.
Yeah, that's pretty simple for what I normally do.
I know, but simple for you is really difficult for me when it comes to signs, so, but like we were talking before, it's just really cool to see what everybody excels at in this game and how we can all kind of help each other out in that way. So that's really, really well done.
Now, I was going to ask, when you make your signs, do you use the align to surface setting, or do you use the arrow adjust moves, like when you build?
I advanced move everything myself.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't align to surface at all. You just...
I do for the initial part, but then I will sink them further in anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just to get myself the first block put in straight, and then line everything up.
Yeah. So
which is super tedious when you start changing the shapes that you're using.
Oh, I bet,
you need
man.
to, like the triangles to the circles are different thicknesses. So yeah.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know on this, because like you said, I mean, this one is pretty. Now, when I say pretty basic, I haven't done one like this because that's just too tedious to me. But it's just like you said, it's just overlaying the shapes. So like the white one is pushed back a little bit further and to the right, and down a little bit from the red shapes. But that's really amazing. And then I remember seeing this, and this part is just really such a cool idea to me. And ambassadors only, we'll have to check that out at the end. But this chill out zone, this is just such a cool kind of concept and idea of just coming and cooling off a little bit. So really,
again, inspired by the Disney mist machines, but I took it a little further than that. But yeah.
Yeah, I just realized we had these in the game the other day, and I got really happy because it actually is like an air vent. So I'm like, yes, I can't believe I didn't know we had those before. Because, we'll see PC creators, and I'm like, man, I wish we had some of that TMTK realism stuff. But I think we all do a pretty good job for kind of creating our own kind of ideas. Ooh, this is a cool restroom, cool little building. Yeah,
Yeah,
ladies
we
and
make
gents.
do.
Yeah,
We make do without the TMTK.
yeah, I think we do pretty good
It
job.
would kill the Oswald counter anyway. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it kills PCs, to be honest. So, um, I mean, just it is one of those things where it's like, I do wish we could build more. Like, I do think the Oswald counter is. I understand why they put it in. I just don't know, like the parks I've done have run fine at 130%. So I'm like, where did they figure out the line was? But I know NH's parks, like his are so detailed that like they tend to crash when you're riding a coaster or something. But it's like for the PC parks, you gotta wait 30 minutes for it to load, and the autosaves take forever. So we are really blessed in that sense of everything loads quickly. There's no lagging. Graphics are great. Um, but yeah, this is Geisha. Is this a launch coaster? It looks like.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And who created this coaster?
That one's mine.
Okay, cool. So how'd you come up with the? I guess obviously the idea comes from continuing the Japanese theme, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I see that it kind of goes in this pit, and so this is really kind of cool digging this pit out. Yeah. So where'd
Yeah,
the
it was
idea?
inspired by a thumbnail that I saw on YouTube about some unique coasters, and it was just a coaster that spiraled inside of a pit. And I was like,
Ah,
oh, I'd like to try and make my own thing out of something like that. So
yeah. Well, it looks awesome. So let's see. We got this is called Geisha. It's a launch torque, and stats look good. G-forces look good as well. Max speed 53 miles per hour. So let's take a ride on the coaster. Man, I don't know about you, TJ, but Mavs, I love the layout of this ride, and I think the part here where it launches up the hill, even though it's not a fast launch, and it goes right in between those two letters. I mean, that's really well done. Um,
hmm
I just kind of really enjoyed the kind of layout and design of that coaster. It's really cool.
yeah, I thought it was short and sweet, but
Yeah,
really cool. A nice, interesting layout. I
yeah,
like the whole under the pit area.
for sure. Yeah, I think this part you could have smoothed out just a tad bit more. I think overall, I think the layout is really, really strong, and you also somehow in this little pit area got 3 inversions. I don't know how, but somehow you did. So that's really, really a
hmm
cool kind of creative design there. Um, and then over here, it's just kind of out in this field, so that's really cool. And we got a little backstage area, little office it looks like.
yeah, like an admin building.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love adding that kind of stuff in, even though nobody can ever use it. And this would be a little maintenance, I guess, for the ride, which is cool. Was there a transfer track on this one? Looks like it.
Yes. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Really, really well done. I like too how you're using the cement pieces as kind of the walkways there too, or the firehouse. So I think that's a good touch. Let's see. So let's move on. And yeah, sometimes when when looking at collab parks, it's always kind of interesting, kind of trying to see like who built what. Ooh, that's a cool fence idea. Um, yeah, I love using these kind of bull bar things now as well. Those, or there's also the chain attachment. There's also, if you're in the Studios pack, I think it's called Bull Bar that kind of goes on the car. They work perfectly if you hide them in the wall to look like door handles. Oh, this is really cool for the vending machines. Which one of y'all did this?
That was me.
I bet that was
again, the idea being so you could lock it all up at night.
Oh, that's really cool. I bet that was a pain in the you know what to get all these things to match up properly.
Just a little.
Yeah, I don't know why vending machines sometimes seem to be so tricky. But yeah, that's a really cool concept and idea. Giving me ideas. Oh, boy, is that majestic up there. Looking up and seeing that massive building with that waterfall. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that was TJ that made that building.
Yeah, that was me.
How did I guess that? No, I'm just kidding. That is awesome. Oh, who made Slingshot?
Okay, so I built that, but so inside the ball, the seats I made as a replica of the Spinball coaster.
Okay.
And then the ring, I made one of those rings, and if you remember the water park, you had the entrance when you come out of the spaceship and you walk through that tube down the steps is exactly the same piece.
Okay.
Well, Tommy P had used it and built this slingshot out of it all. So yeah, each one's just a little circle.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I took his idea of using my pieces to make a slingshot and built my own.
Wow, that is amazing. Which, by the way, we forgot to look at your rival coaster that you made at night. So we'll take a look at that in a second because that looks really awesome. But then I wanted to see how this was lit up because these things are normally lit up pretty well. But this looks fantastic. And especially the view of that majestic building in the background, like it really just kind of adds to the, the visual sight line that the guests kind of see in the park. So that is just really, really well done. And real quick, let's take a look at this this area at night. And I like how you kind of color coded it with the color of the coaster. So I think that's really, really well done. So let's move on over here. So we still got a couple of coasters to look at in a couple areas of the park. So let's go back to daytime. Get the HUD back off the screen. There we go. Yeah, TJ, we were talking about this before, or Mavs, TJ and I were talking about this before you hopped on the chat. Like these chair swings, I feel like you just gotta have one of these in each park because they just look so cool, no matter where they're placed. So it's just this whole area right here just gives a really kind of cool look.
Iconic rides.
Yeah, for sure. They just look really awesome, and this little pond or lake is amazing. It kind of reminds me in a way.
Pretty much all TJ down this side now.
Okay. It kind of reminds me of the, in like Florence, Italy, or Venice, and places like that. You see these kind of river walks. That's kind of what the vibes it kind of gives me. Obviously, a different building style, but the kind of look of it. So TJ, is there anything over there in the building, or is that more just kind of like for show and stuff?
I mean, there's a few restaurants, but stops there at the building. Yeah,
and I like the different building pieces here for the flooring. Which looks cool. And then I like too how from time to time you've changed up the color scheme. So this is more like gray and black instead of just the red. So I think it's really, really cool how you're able to integrate that well. So the Academy Cafe. Oh, okay, so it's just the restaurant thing. I gotcha. Still really well done. And I mean the views from over here are just spectacular. Man, that's cool. And then we're about to ride my favorite coaster type. So Mavs, with you being in Orlando, you're around some really awesome theme parks. What's your favorite type of coaster, or maybe just favorite coaster in your area?
I mean, I do really like Hulk. But I mean, Busch Gardens, just in general, is probably my favorite park. I know that's further out down in Tampa, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still only a couple hours, I think, so that's
Hmm.
not bad. That's awesome. Nice locker ideas right there. Yeah, Busch Gardens. So how is I mean, I know hopefully Gwazi opens this next year. Is Shikra pretty good, or what's your favorite coaster at Busch Gardens?
For something different, Tigress. I've
Tigris.
never been on anything like that before, and that was really good. But
Is
yeah,
that the
Sheikah is real fun.
is Tigris the one that launches you into basically you do it's not necessarily like a loop, but it's like one of those where
Yeah, the whole track seems to be just built on a very small, thin footprint, but it just goes over itself a couple of times, and
yeah. I think Busch Gardens
mm.
Williamsburg has one of those as well. But my goodness, TJ, you and your stations, man. They're always
I
so majestic and extravagant, and I love it.
it would have been more detailed, but
I
I
mean,
think this looks fine.
this looks pretty darn detailed to me. And then even your custom like booth here, you gave them a little walkway to get out. This is just
Mhm.
awesome. Wow, this is amazing. So it looks like we have a hyper coaster, right? Man, that's really good stats. So look at the results. Everything looks good.
It's a
280
little
feet.
high.
Yeah, a little bit high for the G-forces, but I mean, it's all good. All right, so we just got off Bokeden, and a couple things I wanted to point out here is these lights on the lift hill, just phenomenal. I mean, that's just insane. So 11 pieces that it took to make that, but in my opinion, totally worth it. Um, or wait, is that all the? Oh no, that's the actual lights. My bad. I was thinking each individual one was 11 pieces, and I was thinking that can't be
Oh no.
possible. But no, you put the light. Yeah. Either way, those are really cool, kind of continuing that theme. And then this first drop is just insane. Like having a twist like that. I forget. I think there's one called DC Rivals Coaster, which is a Mac hyper that kind of does something similar that looks amazing. But these custom supports as well. Um, so TJ, did you from the start know you're going to custom support, or is this something you kind of started custom supporting a little bit and decided might as well support the whole thing?
I go into every coaster I build pretty much with the idea that I'm going to custom support it.
Yeah.
Unless something comes up, I try to custom support most. Even the boomerang has custom supports.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but the kitty coaster I did does not.
Yeah. Don't want to use percent on that necessarily.
No, not if you can help it.
Yeah, for sure. And so Mavs, what's your thoughts on this coaster and what TJ made here?
If I remember, this was the first thing he did, and he sent me the screenshots, and I'm like, okay, first thing you're gonna do is just dwarf everything I've done with this gigantic coaster. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a real fun ride though.
Yeah, I love I think my favorite element probably that you made was this kind of turn here, where you're going on this airtime hill and then you kind of turn the opposite way, and I think that was really cool. And then we've also got these custom stairs right here, and so that's really well done as well. And just the amount of pieces like you had to use to make this is just awesome. Um, so that's really well done. But yeah, like you said, it kind of dwarfs everything else, right? Like your coaster, I think was what, about 100 feet. Um, I think is what it said the largest drop. Let's see. Oh yeah, 98 feet for largest drop, so a little bit over 100 feet off the ground. And then we got this 280 foot behemoth. It's really good job though, TJ. I love my hyper coasters. Those are my favorite types. So, Mavs, like the coaster I really want to ride is Mako. Because Mako
Oh,
looks
Mako
insane.
is so much fun.
Yeah. Maybe the only thing I'd say, TJ, is we talked about G-forces maybe being a little bit higher is
Yeah.
this second
it's that
drop.
One spot. It's that one spot on the second hill where the pointer's at, right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's what causes the most stress. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, ugh.
Yeah, I think this should be a little bit taller because I think it just gets
A little
crest the hill
taller.
too quick. Yeah. Yeah. So, as I don't know, Nerd Chacho talks about he'll watch the coasters go, and he wants the coasters to be at about like 35 miles per hour when it reaches the top of the hill. So that's kind of an interesting way to look at it, is trying to look at the speed of where the coaster is in those particular situations. But just amazing job, TJ.
Thank you.
And then especially,
I
go ahead.
Sorry, I will say, to go back, I did forget to mention the castle that I made behind you, the cafe. I got the inspiration from the Osaka castle in Japan.
Okay.
So it's nothing I just pulled out of my head. I tried to replicate it the best I could with what in-game pieces we had.
Yeah, it looks amazing. And so I wonder if we got these windows. Okay. I just didn't.
No,
I mean, knowing you, I was like, he might have done something inside there.
I would have put actually another coaster in there probably, but
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this fencing too just looks amazing. Then I wanted to show here too. There's a. Is this? Okay, so
ride.
yeah. So my question to you is, how'd you get the coaster to sit here?
I changed it leaves the station at like 1 miles an hour, something like that.
Oh, and then it just stops.
Yeah, it just stops rolling.
Oh, that is a brilliant idea. Because I was just wondering, like, okay, how do we do this? Because at first I was thinking, so I know Tommy P had started doing custom coaster trains, and so I was just assuming this might be one of those. But that is a really cool kind of idea. So yeah, you taught all of us a little trick today.
Yeah, and it is detailed in there a little bit. Like,
yeah.
You can walk up to like each area. You could walk up down there or to the left.
Yeah, gosh, detailed a little bit. This is really detailed that you have 2 different walkways for the employees to reach other parts of the ride. Yeah, really well done, TJ.
Thank you. We do have to point out Mav's sign.
Oh yeah, where is it
by
at?
the entrance, by the queue.
Okay. Oh my gosh, is that the sign you're talking about where you're just like, I don't know how in the world he did this? Yeah. Mavs, where'd you get the kind of idea for this? Because I'm sure there's some reference or something that you kind of had to visualize, right?
I did use a reference picture. TJ had sent me a kind of like a samurai mask, and I'd started with it, and I'm like, the shapes weren't really working for me, so I started looking at other kind of Japanese, again, feudal era type images, and then something like this came up, and I sent it to him. I'm like, what do you think about something like this? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, the size of the coaster he did, I need to make this pretty big. So
yeah,
it is pretty big.
Yeah, and it looks amazing, especially with the building in the background a little bit too. So just kind of, and that's another example of where you guys did a great job working together, of collabing on the same ride, essentially, where TJ's station behind it just kind of adds to the how majestic the sign is, you know.
It's a big coaster. I needed a big sign.
Yes, for sure. And so we'll kind of get an aerial view of this area, because I know we've got the kids coaster to look at, and then I believe we've looked at all the main park, and we'll kind of look at the backstage stuff. But TJ, was there anything in particular that you kind of got this idea for this waterway from, or did you just kind of get started and?
I mean, he didn't have much water in the park, so I thought I'd add water. and
Yeah.
I just put in this little canal type thing and made the custom cherry blossom trees there and put them along the edge.
So these are
So,
custom trees.
about 20 pieces of.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I think Jasmine actually did look at this and said that's amazing. Um, if I remember correctly when I was showing her around the park. But yeah, this is really, really well done. I really like it, and you got the water up to a pretty high level too. Because sometimes it's hard to get the water at a realistic level. And I love the little walkways. So I'm sure this was another area for you, Mavs, that when you saw pictures, you're just like, wow.
Yep. As soon as he started with the work in progress images, updating me, I'm like, yep, this is definitely going in the right direction.
Yep.
Because he did actually move the hammer swing
Okay.
that I skinned. It was facing the other way and it was closer to the samurai coaster. But when he moved it and worked it around all these waterworks that he put in, I'm like, yeah. I am very happy with the direction you're taking all this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is, and I love the hammer swing because it's such a majestic ride. Is it takes up a massive footprint, but just you kind of adding these, skinning the ride to look like that, it just really, really stands out and is a not a vocal point, but a visual, visual point. And then I'm guessing this is a food court area. And
Yep.
oh my gosh, TJ, did you make this too, TJ? This is insane. This is one of the coolest food court areas I've seen in the game. Um, I think it's just all the extra detail that you put in right here, using this fencing and stuff. Just really, really cool.
Thank you.
So this is definitely
Yeah.
not a low budget park.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had the vending machines when I took it over, and I thought I'd add a few shops in a few areas. So
Yeah, that looks great. And so I'm guessing, so this would kind of take us back around. Does this go to some of the backstage, or is that, yeah?
yeah, that cage to your right behind you that goes
Yeah.
down there.
Now TJ did show me this as he was working on it, and this is just one of the coolest things I've seen.
I'm a big fan of this little area.
Yeah, I would hate to be the truck driver that has to drive down this though, man. That would
It'd be a tight squeeze.
Yeah, twice sweet. Yeah.
A tight.
Put it this way, they'd have to pay me good money to do that. But yeah, this is amazing. And so I wonder if y'all can guess what coaster this is. But I love all the wiring on the walls and I mean just the panels and stuff. And then you've got once again the sign. And I guess this is. Oh, go ahead.
You can walk back up the other way through the tunnel too.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. So I'm guessing this is there in theory in case if the coaster ever stalls out, you got a way to evacuate the guest or the passengers. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, and Mouse, what were you saying about this? Because you were talking about
I was a big fan of what he was doing underneath there and the view you get with his duplicated the sign on the wall down there as well.
Yeah, let me go back down to that. Yeah, just right here. And I think what I love. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, as you look into there, I think that's a really cool shot.
Yeah, and now as we see the coaster kind of come back by, I think one thing too, TJ, that you just do an amazing job with is kind of tying everything together. Is I love doing backstage stuff, and I feel like sometimes it's hard to tie everything together and make sure that it all kind of looks realistic in that sense. And so what you've done here with having this area that's connected to this area, which goes to this little restaurant thing, which then you've got the walkway here to the station, is just like, I mean, just insane. So really, really well done and good job. And then I love the corkscrew over this little house or whatever that building is. Just looks awesome.
Thank you. Custom.
Yeah. I feel like it'd have to be to have it fit perfectly like that. Yeah, really well done. So are you doing, TJ, when you make your coasters now, do you do mostly custom supports now, or not custom supports, custom inversions now? Or do you still do pre-made versions a lot? And
I mean, I don't. I never really did too many pre or in-game pieces.
yeah,
With loops, I probably will because like they're pretty perfect in game and they're kind of hard to do
yeah,
custom.
for
So
sure.
I don't tend to mess with those. But everything else, I'll try to do custom. But I mean, if it ticks me off too much, then I'll just put it in game piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, well, I gotta say, you're one of the first people I've seen that's made this detail of a transfer track for a kids coaster. So, um, really awesome.
Thank you.
Then once again, continuing these signs that map or not signs, whatever these walkways are. I guess you got that over from kind of taking that from when Mavs did that near his rival coaster.
Hmm.
So just kind of implementing that on a different part of the park is really cool. And I don't know, you always come up with these cool operator booths too.
I get ideas from other people, honestly, because
Yeah, I mean that's how we gotta do it, right? So I mean
mm,
you kind of see what everybody else does and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I forgot to look at the stats, but we kind of know normally where stats are for kids coasters, or maybe this is more considered a family coaster. Um,
yeah, I don't think it's too wild.
no. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize it went over this far. Yeah, so that's a really, really well done coaster. Um,
Especially using that dragon, because I've tried one before and I just gave up on him.
yeah,
Yeah, they can be kind of a pain to do, honestly.
yeah. I mean, I just feel like you gotta lower the amount of trains. Because sometimes these things will come with like
Hmm.
16 cars, and it's like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you're halfway down the first hill before it lets go,
Yeah, or
and
if you're
then
trying
like,
to do those bunny hills, basically, you're basically over two hills by the time the back of the car is like
hmm.
two hills behind. But yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the foliage there is done really nicely. I really do like these trees a lot. Um, I think they just add a lot of nice color to it
Hmm.
and really cool. And one thing I've noticed too is with these, or even with the oak trees or whatever, if you basically copy them and just keep spinning them around and lower a little bit, raise them, it really makes them look kind of bushy. And so, like with this one, like because you know how they're just, they're really tall trees, right? So you could like copy it and then you could lower it down a little bit, and it just kind of adds a little bit more kind of um, a little more leaves and stuff to the tree. But
Hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I would show y'all, but this is we
I
can't
can't
do
move
anything
anything.
since we're over the
Yeah.
limit. um, but yeah, this is amazing. So I think that's one of the best coasters. I mean, all these coasters are amazing. I really can't even choose which one I like the most because they're all so well done. So you guys did an amazing job, and I know that we over here there's a little staff area that I wanted to look at. So a little staff entryway. So I like the little gate. Oh, and then the doors are nice. What'd you use here? Okay, the wooden double door. Oh, okay. Yeah, and so I love seeing all the realism bits that people are starting to do now, and gives me ideas as well for when I do the next area of kind of realism in my park. Um, oh, that's that's cool. Um, so is there anything, Mavs? Is there anything that I didn't really touch on that you want to make sure that I look at before we end the chat and stuff?
I would say the only thing that maybe you didn't look at was the drop tower. I had the building on the samurai, but obviously the contest rules were no rides and only one shop. So I had that already in place, and I did do a drop tower, and the queue for it's kind of nice. That tall building in the center,
Oh, this is a drop tower?
inside, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I'm glad you told me because I wouldn't even have thought that was a drop tower. So that's going to be the exit, I'm
Hmm.
guessing. Um, which, by the way, TJ hopefully will be able to join us in a second. It looks like there was a network failure, so um, hold on. Where am I? Did I miss the queue?
If you carry on, it should
Okay.
turn to the right at some point.
Okay, cool.
TJ actually changed this path, so
No, you're good, man. Um, yeah, there's
yeah,
just so
just to
much
the
stuff.
right here.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Wow, this is really cool. I mean, I wish they gave us more signs than just this. Like sometimes
Right.
I look at some of the TMTK stuff and I'm like, how difficult would it be for them to actually make this in the game? Like how difficult would it be for them to make some of those small signs that TMTK has or like the electrical boxes and different stuff like that. But
Hmm.
and I
Or even
love
take it straight from that TMTK, put it in the game themselves.
yeah, no kidding. I mean, I feel like they could have done that for consoles so easy.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. I'm glad you said this because I would not have even thought that there was a ride in here. And just how narrow this is insane. And so I'm guessing obviously it clears this spot.
Yes.
But wow, so you said you originally kind of did this as a part of the rival contest, even though I mean,
I had the building. I made sure that I did build it with the ride and then deleted the ride to submit it.
oh, okay. Good
But I
gosh, that
needed
is really
it,
cool.
just a little bit more scenery, so I wanted the building and then I needed to have a use for that building.
Yeah. I mean, you and TJ did a great job on this, and I think it's one of those two where you guys both allowed your like where you guys excel at to really show. Um, and so I've really enjoyed taking a tour around this park. Anything else? Any other comments or anything?
Nothing outside of, like I say, I'm glad I chose TJ to actually take on the rest of this park, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, if you want to make sure that um, that basically your park is basically what I'm trying to say is TJ is fantastic at building and everything. And it's yeah, I mean a couple of the collabs I've seen with him, it's just crazy what he does and what he's
Hmm.
able to do. So I think it's really just kind of added. He took the idea that you had and really ran with it, and both of y'all did an amazing job. Um, so thank you so much, and sorry guys that TJ was not able to jump back on the chat, but at least he was on here for the vast majority of it. So thank you guys so much. Make sure to go rate and download on the workshop, as I will put the link below. And I've done a tour of Mavs, your water park contest, which had a very
Interesting.
unexpected, interesting turn of events in the park that guys should go check it out. So I'll put the link of that one below as well. And also your Christmas ride was just phenomenal. Really good job
Thank
with
you.
that. Took the area that you really excel at and making signs and just really really well done. So thank you so much, man, for joining me. And I really love the park. And I hope everybody has. Oh, hey, real quick, TJ joined back. TJ, what's up, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we were literally about to wrap up.
Okay, sorry, I don't know what the heck happened. It just like the screen froze and then it just went blank. So I had to restart the whole thing.
Yeah. No, you're good, man. I was just saying, is there anything else you want to say, kind of as we wrap up this chat? Mavs showed me the drop tower that he made. Because I didn't even realize there's a drop tower in this building, or
Oh
that
yeah,
hyper
yeah.
jump, whatever it's called. So
Yeah, no, I mean it was great working with it or working on it with him. Maybe we could do another one in the future since we both have PS5s now. So,
hmm
but yeah, no, it was really great. I had a fun time building it, especially since it was a different theme that I'd never done before.
for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all so much for joining me on the chat today.
Yeah,
You're
thank you for
welcome.
having me.
Absolutely. We'll definitely need to do this again at some point, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day.